What's up, y'all? Riley from Wander in the Woods here, and today I'm talking about Hannah and I's initial impressions of our truck. So, for those of you who don't know, we recently bought this truck as our future home. Essentially, we're going to be living out of a camper in the very near future indefinitely. So, it will be our full time home on the road. And this truck is the foundation for that new lifestyle. So we were pretty intentional when we chose it. And now that we've had it for approximately 6 months and put around 7,000 miles of mixed driving on it, we have some initial impressions that we'd like to share with you. So let me just get the basics out of the way. This truck that we're sitting in is a 3500 bighorn long bed single rear wheel Ram. And if that's a mouthful, trust me, I had problems getting it out just then. So it is a step above your tradesman package. So it's not quite a base model, but it's a far cry from the limiteds. And if you want to learn more about the basics of this truck, I have a video about it that you can find on the channel. And if I can figure out how, I'll link it here. I know people do that. They like point here and they're like, check out this video. So we'll see if I can figure out how to do that. If so, watch this video. Let's start with the bad because that's what sells, right? People love to complain. So that's what I'm going to do. So when we got this truck, it had the upgraded screen, and a lot of people were like, oh, that's so cool. You have the Tesla screen, right? And admittedly, it looks pretty neat. However, this gigantic display that you see here is not as functional as it might appear. And first of all, we just prefer tactile buttons. And to be fair, Ram did a good job of incorporating those controls that you frequently reach for as buttons, as knobs. But still, we'd prefer most of them be that way. So I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, you have your volume, your tuning, all of your climate control buttons and stuff. So you don't have to use the screen for everything, thank goodness, because if you did, it would be honestly so distracting and a little dangerous. The orientation of the screen being vertical, it's kind of weird because a lot of the stuff that you view on your screen is actually horizontal rather than vertical. So for example, if I show you the cameras, it only shows you the top half of the screen, right? So it takes what could be a massive image and shrinks it down to where you might as well have a much, much smaller screen, right? This center console from Ram leaves a lot to be desired. And it's kind of funny because it's just as big, if not bigger, by volume than the Ford's was, but the choices that they made kind of limit that functionality. So I'll show you what I mean as best as I can. So looking down, you can see we've tried to add some functionality for us with these cup holders. Gonna have to add one for Hannah's side. I was just seeing if we liked these. But we often have waters, coffees, etc. So we need 4 cup holders that aren't accessible to the dog because he 100% will get his nose in there. And personally not a fan of drinking dog water, but to each their own. Anyway, there is a good size upper console. I like that there's a USB port so you can set your phone or other devices in here, charge it, and have this closed. That is nice. And then you have the larger box down below, and it is quite deep. I mean, I'll show you. My whole arm can go down in there. It has this little flip-up tray to separate this from the sliding area up front, which I'm about to show you. So this works okay. It's a little weird that it has this massive ridge down here. A flat floor on this would have made a lot more sense. And then you'll see that the console can slide. Pretty cool, right? You get a little bit more storage space up here. That's neat. You know what you can't do? You can't use these cup holders, and can't shut this if you have a drink in there. It has a couple different latch points, so here, without that cup holder there, you could. But it's a moving part. And so because it's a moving part, it squeaks and rattles already. And this is like a brand new truck. So it's just added complexity for very little, in our opinion, no benefit. So another qualm that we have with the interior, and I apologize for this kind of weird view, is the steering wheel column. And this is more a me issue than a Hanna issue because she sits a lot closer to the wheel. But as you can see, you have one lever under here. And that one lever adjusts the steering column up or down. There is no telescoping. Telescoping? Doesn't matter. So this is as close or as far away as the steering wheel will ever be. You can only adjust it up and down. So the last thing that we need to talk about is storage related. And I apologized last time for not cleaning the truck. I apologize again. We use this thing all the time. The dog's always back there. So there's going to be hair and dirt and stuff. But anyway, first things first, the subwoofer under the seat takes away all the backseat storage on the passenger side. Like that is a significant amount of storage that you lose out on. So we could do without that. And then the hump, the floor hump, again, coming from the Ford, this wasn't here. This was entirely flat. They even used a fold flat system on the rear storage box. So you could have this entire floor flat. This is a pain in the rear. So we've talked about the bad of the interior. Let's talk about the things that we don't like about the rest of the truck. And thankfully it's a short list because I'm getting pretty tired of being negative. I'd like to talk about some good stuff. So let's just knock these out real quick. First things first, it is a long truck. So the turning radius is awful. Next, it is a modern diesel. That means that it has emission systems. Regardless of your feelings on those, they add complexity, they add expense, and we don't like all the modern stuff, including the emission systems and some of the issues that come with those. Acceleration off the line is pretty terrible. The Cummins has tons of torque. The 6-speed transmission is a little dated. Once you're at speed, it's incredible how quickly you can pass people. Like 60 to unknown number it happens in a snap. However, from a stoplight, you could floor it, and I'm guessing it's the torque management, but it will not let you just fly. So you have to be aware of that. And then finally, the headlights are halogen headlights, which they're fine. They work okay, but they're not LEDs, and this probably wouldn't make the list if this was a truck that cost a fraction of what this truck cost. At the price point, I think it's kind of absurd that any vehicle would come with halogens in 2024 at this price point. So that's our last gripe. Now we can talk about the good stuff, which there's a lot of it. So I'm excited to share it with you. So the first good thing is that I'm out here drinking my coffee, playing with a camera and talking about trucks with this as my background. I mean, it's a great day off from work. Anyway, let's dive into what Hanna and I like about the truck so far. Ours is the high output Cummins, and it is incredible. It's by far our favorite powertrain we've ever had. It sounds really good, which I know is not a great reason to love it, but there's more to it. As I mentioned, it has really great passing speed, oodles of torque. I said oodles. It's ridiculous. It gets decent fuel economy for the size truck that it is. Unloaded with the more aggressive wheels and tires that we have on here, we still get around 20 on the highway and around 15 mixed. So pretty darn good for a truck this size. And then finally, it has an exhaust brake, or they call it an exhaust brake, which is incredibly efficient at slowing you down without having to put your foot on the brake. It really maintains speed when you're going down hills or you're on the highway and you need a little extra help slowing down. I'm very excited for that particular feature once we have the camper. I think it's going to help tremendously. The second thing I want to mention about the exterior of the truck is that we love the styling. So we think that it is the best looking HD truck on the market. We love what I would call the shoulders, the tall grille. It just has an aggressive, bold look to it. And we also really like the new mirrors that Ram debuted. I also wanted to note that I'm filming this video a little bit different today. Usually I have a tripod. It's just me standing and talking. I'm doing this a little bit more vlog style because a good friend of mine lent me a lens where I could try to do it this way. So let me know if you like this style or if you prefer the setup on a tripod and kind of talk in front of it. I don't know. I don't know which one I like. So I'd love your feedback, but just trying something new. It's fun. The last thing that I absolutely have to mention about the exterior of the truck that we like is the long bed itself. We were very nervous about getting a long bed truck. We had, like I said, a crew cab Ford Super Duty with the 6 3/4 bed, and we got used to it. I mean, it was actually really easy to drive, but something about going to an 8-foot bed with a longer wheelbase was a little bit intimidating to us. It's the largest vehicle we've ever had. We're going to be making it even bigger and longer by throwing a camper on it. So we were a little nervous, but now that we've lived with it for 6 months, we actually love it. We think that it looks way better than the standard bed. It's incredibly functional. Like, we've had to, move some stuff, help some people out, that kind of stuff. And everything fits in this bed. It's amazing. And it's not that much harder to drive. Overall, the trade-off is so worth it. It looks great. It functions just phenomenally. And I mean, I don't foresee us getting a truck without a long bed ever again. Now, don't quote me on that if we do, but I really like it. And I think that Hannah's come around to it as well. Okay, we're back inside the truck to finish this video off by talking about the positives of the interior. And there are a lot. I know that I harped on some of the interior features earlier, but really there are a lot of things that we do like about it. So let's start with the comfort. I'm sitting in this seat. It's great. It's got, the driver's side anyway, has electronic adjustment of forward, backward, up, down. You have your lumbar support, all that stuff. Another feature of the Ram seats that I really like is the headrests are adjustable. So you can move them forward, find your sweet spot, reset it. Perfect. Speaking of comfort, on the highway, this thing just glides. It's honestly, it's a miracle that I haven't gotten a ticket yet, because you're just coasting and it feels like you're going 30 miles an hour and you look down and you're going 80. And it's like, it's unreal how the power, the ride, the visibility, and the interior comfort all come together to create a package that fools you into thinking that you're just meandering along the highway. And it's just that smooth. Coming from a background of driving Jeeps from coast to coast, this is such an upgrade. It's going to be so nice to not feel squished, rattled, and otherwise abused after a day of driving. Speaking of squished, it is super roomy in here. It's so roomy that it frustrates Hannah a little bit because she has to lean all the way over if she wants to hold my hand or something. Aside from the comfort and the spaciousness, I really like that these dials are analog. One other thing that I really like is the column shifter. I don't know, there's just something about it that feels right. Over here, we have a glove box that is above the other glove box. Even more storage. Look at that. And then storage up there with a power outlet. You got your sunglass storage. So there's storage everywhere in the front. And in the back, there's even more. So why don't we head back there and I'll show you what we like about the storage in the back. We added these fold flat floors. They are an option from the factory. So these are a factory option that we bought used. They're great because they fold flat, obviously, and let's see if I can do this with one hand, but they provide flat storage across the whole thing. So usually this is Chowder's domain. He has a bed here. We have flat storage over there. Works out nicely for everyone, including the dog. They have these little legs. Simply fold those. And then, ta-da, it's out of the way. You can put your seat down, as you can see over there. And you also can access your underfloor storage, which the driver's side does have. Another nice thing in the Rams is under the little mat there, you have more storage in the floor. So this is actually pretty substantial. I mean, almost up to my elbow. You can get covers for them that are lockable, which is kind of nice. And then they're also, somewhat hidden when you have the mat down, especially if you have the foldable floor over it. So lots of storage back here, and we really appreciate that. And we use it a lot, especially when King Chowder is back here ruling his domain and leering at us from over the center console. All right, let's finish this off by talking about these aux switches from the factory, as well as the suite of cameras that this truck came with. So the aux switches are great because they allow you to wire your accessories directly to the truck and control them from here. So we already have our air compressor wired up. We're going to add things like off-road lights. And then the cameras really help with navigating tight trails, parking lots, etc. There's a whole bunch of them, and they cover everything from the front to the back to all around. You can even look at your blind spots. So I'll show you all of those. We'll scroll through them. But overall, very useful feature that we're really glad that we have. All right, y'all. Well, that pretty much sums it up. That is the list of things that Hanna and I like and dislike about our Ram so far. I hope that you enjoyed watching. Please comment below if you think that we missed anything or if you think that other manufacturers do it better. We only have experience with Ford, and even that experience was pretty limited. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic, as well as what you'd like to see next from us. We hope that you'll follow along on this channel. You can also check us out on Instagram if you are more into photos and more frequent updates. But like I said, we're going to be moving into this truck and our camper full-time soon. Our camper is still being manufactured, so as soon as it's done, we're going to go get it, and it will be life on the road for us from that point forward. So I hope you'll follow along. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.